Hello, everyone. Well, the short summary for today and tonight across Nebraska is a mess. But there are some details that we need to iron out. So let's get started. 8 a.m. this morning, and notice how much of the state is covered in activity. Still some gaps in the eastern third of the state, but filling in there as well. And also notice the shades of purple and green showing up from Kearney on up to Columbus through the Omaha area and down into the southeastern quarter of the state. We're talking about early this morning a true wintry mix for the southeastern corner of the state. Some freezing rain, some sleet, some plain old rain, some snow, all precipitation types a possibility. And this wintry mix is going to linger in the southeastern corner of the state, and that's going to cut back on the snow totals. But eventually, everything is going to change over to all snow in the southeastern corner of the state. It's just going to take a lot longer there than much of the rest of the state where it's going to be all snow. So 11 a.m., notice that we're changing over from the wintry mix of just plain old snow around the Kearney area, but definitely it's talking about freezing rain and sleet, Beatrice, Lincoln, Omaha. But look at those dark shades of blue indicating heavy snow in the central part of the state, getting breezy in the eastern part of the state, and less wind as you go to the west today. Gusts around 20 miles per hour by the time we get to lunchtime and around the Lincoln, Omaha area, and winds just around 10 miles per hour as you get over to Scotts Bluff. All right, so here we are, 2 o'clock, and yeah, we are still talking about, probably at this point, mostly freezing rain coming down Beatrice, Lincoln, Omaha, and you see that little shade of orange and red showing up? Also in the southeastern corner of the state with this freezing rain and sleet. We could be talking about some thunderstorms and maybe some thunder snow. Grand Island, Kearney, yeah, that's a possibility. There's a lot of energy in the atmosphere. But notice at this point, the wintry mix really limited the southeastern corner of the state with this cutting in on those snowfall totals. So when is it just going to change over to snow? We're not going to be talking about the freezing rain and sleet anymore. Well, I think for most, by the late afternoon, I think we'll have made the transition just to plain old snow, Lincoln, Omaha, but maybe not quite yet. For the southeastern corner of the state, it may not be till about 5 o'clock this afternoon we make that change over to snow in Beatrice, and maybe a little bit later and around the Falls City area. Late this afternoon, that's probably when winds are going to peak. It will get windy in the eastern part of the state with gusts around 30 miles per hour and a bit on the breezy side out in the panhandle with gusts around 20 miles per hour. So still seeing more wind to the east, less to the west. And so look at those dark shades of blue. So when it changes over to snow, it's going to be piling up. So here we are at 8 o'clock, and I do think the heavy snow mainly limited to the northeastern corner of the state at this point, but we're pretty well covered still early this evening. Notice that rain-snow line trying to hold on to the southeastern corner, but I do think for the vast majority it is all snow at this point. And here we are at 11 o'clock, finally talking about things winding down the panhandle, but still a lot of light to moderate snow to be found in the central and eastern part of the state. Just a light breeze around, winds 10 to 15 miles per hour tonight. Here we are, morning commute tomorrow, and for a lot, there's probably either going to be no snow coming down or not very much. Mainly isolated snow showers and flurries for the eastern half of the state early tomorrow morning. But keep in mind, for everyone, there are still going to be snow and ice-covered roads. So if you do venture out tomorrow morning, use caution. Even though there's not going to be much falling, it's still going to be pretty messy conditions out there. I do think the last of the snow will stop falling, though, by the late morning tomorrow around 11 a.m. That'll be it for the activity, and then it's just a cold day, particularly in the eastern part of the state. That's where temperatures will be noticeably cooler, and because it's going to be breezy, and the eastern part of the state gusts as high as 25 miles per hour, Omaha, Lincoln area, and then dropping again as you go to the west. There'll be a wind chill factor as well. All right, so let's talk about how much freezing rain we have to go. And notice that it is really limited to the southeastern corner of the state, and there's going to be variation. I think we're talking about freezing rain totals, ice accumulation ranging from a few hundredths of an inch to as much as a quarter of an inch in spots. But with this kind of ice accumulation, we're talking about icy spots, not just limited to bridges and overpasses. That's usually all we're talking about. But when you're talking about ice accumulation getting up to a quarter of an inch in the southeastern corner of the state, now we're talking about lots of icy spots on roads, including major roads, or reason not to travel. And also, where we get those quarter-inch ice totals, we could be talking about a few power outages, because they're going to be limited. I don't think widespread power outages, but a few power outages are a possibility when we're talking about ice totals getting up to a quarter of an inch. But now, let's talk about the snow. But you can see what's going to happen because of that freezing rain and sleet in the southeastern quarter state really cutting in on the snow totals. But still could be noteworthy. And look at the very tight grading, very, very tricky snowfall forecast. The latest models, though, are saying we're talking about just a dusting to 2 inches, Falls City over to Beatrice, but look how things really start to climb very quickly as you go up to the north. For Lincoln, it's looking like 3 to 5 inches once we make that change over to snow, and Omaha now looking like 5 to 7 inches. But then look how crazy things suddenly get. I mean, we're talking from Omaha to Columbus. Columbus, it really is looking like 13 to 15 inches of snow. And look at Norfolk, 14 to 16 inches. Broken Bow, 14 to 16 inches. North Platte, 11 to 13 inches. But then as you get farther to the west, since it's mostly just going to be light to moderate snow today, we're not talking about the heavy snow. The snow totals really back off as well. But the bottom line, especially during the day today, if you don't have to be on the roads, please don't. And really continuing through tonight as well. And then continue to use caution through the morning hours tomorrow as well. But I think significant improvement once we get to tomorrow afternoon.